Hello and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. I'm Grant Wall, joined as always by Winona State head football coach Tom Sawyer. And coach, it was a long road trip out to Minot State last Saturday, but the one thing that can make a long road trip shorter is coming home with a win. And that's exactly what the Warriors did, a 49-14 win over Minot State. The big story to come out of this one, obviously, is Ojika running for 242 yards, including an 82-yard touchdown the first time he touches the ball. Just tell me about that performance from a senior running back having a career day.
Yeah, Grant, I'm really excited for Chichi. I mean, he's a kid that, all these last 3 years is behind an All-American, a Harlan Hill candidate, and Rayon Simmons, and so he had a limited role. We were trying to find ways to get him to football, and prior to that, we had, Curtis Dewberry here, so he really got kind of put back a little bit in his playing time. And this year, as a senior, and his leadership has grown, and Rayon leaving, he knew his role was going to change, and it has, and he's been an awesome teammate, upper level teacher to the young running backs, but also with that role, he's learned to be a little bit more durable, a little bit more physical, and to be able to handle the pounding that he's going to get if he's going to get more touches. And obviously, Saturday was one of those days where it was his show. He did it, and I'm really, really proud of him.
He's a guy that had his first 100-yard game 2 weeks ago against MSU Moorhead, rushing for 125 yards, and then coming out and rushing for over 200 yards on Saturday. You've been around for a lot of really, really good running performances in your time here at Winona State. How does this one rank as far as, a guy really putting a team on his shoulders and taking them down the field?
Well, I think it ranks up there for a couple of reasons. The first one is the other kids, going back to Rayon, and our record is 333 in a game, but those are big backs, they're durable backs, they're breaking out of tackles. He flat out did it with speed. I mean, he hit a couple plays, even on a draw, where he took it right up the middle, and a long one was like the 43-yard one. Look at that one on tape, and it's unbelievable how fast that he got from point A to the end zone was amazing. So he's healthy, he's fast, and he's using that particular skill. And then the second thing is just for what he's endured over his time, for him to finally, as a fifth-year senior, to get a chance to shine for a little bit in some games. I'm just really excited for him, and he's done it well.
We'll see a little bit later in the show exactly what you've been talking about as we show those highlights. But from an offensive standpoint, the first couple games of the year struggled a little bit to get the run game on track. Now these last two games, it's really been clicking on all cylinders. How much benefit is that to an offense to have both the run game and the pass game going at the same time?
Well, we always like to say that in our philosophy we want to be a 50-50 team, which we are over a course of a year. Some games you need to be able to run it 50 times, some games you have to throw it 50 times, but our philosophy still remains the same. But when you get a couple kids hurt, with Theo Burkett down, we had a couple offensive linemen that missed some time, you take down John Taglin, I mean, all of a sudden your picture changes by the people that are on the field, and you have to adjust and make some changes, and we've done that. And I think the credit goes to our staff, Cam and the guys, and Tony and Ryan. But mostly, when kids have opportunities, you got to make the most of it. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So we've been very lucky that when we've had kids that stepped in, like a Ojika or a Paul Preston or Jordan Koss, they're getting the job done, and it's fun to watch.
One group that really shines in a game like Chichi had is the offensive line. There's no stats really that show the contributions of an offensive line, but nobody's rushing for 242 yards without great play up front.
Well, yeah, and it's led by three seniors. You got obviously Jake Lulla, an All-American, then you got James Poliquin and Corey Christensen. There's three seniors there that are seasoned. They've all started for 2 or 3 years already. Jake's in his fourth year starting for us. Those guys have a lot of experience, and early in the year they were a little banged up as well, and we weren't playing very as well up front and making some mistakes, and it was like one guy per play. Well, those guys have made a commitment to continue to get better, and also Vance Ross and Ben Reinhardt. Those guys have been really playing well too. So that group of guys has gotten better. They're a very prideful group, and now we got to do it, against better competition than what we've seen the last couple of weeks. But at least our confidence is up, our assignments are there, and our mistakes have been reduced.
The other big thing to come out of Saturday's game, on the other side of the football, defensively for Winona State, is forcing fumbles. Warriors forced 8 of them against Minot State. A really showing what happens when you can disrupt things and get to the football.
Yeah, Minot's they got a problem with fumbling right now. It happened before we got there, and then obviously with 8 of them, you have 8 sacks and 8 fumbles. Good things are going to happen to you. But we work hard on it. It's part of our defensive pride to strip the ball, get the ball out. One guy needs to secure the tackle. The other 3-4 guys in there got to get the football, and it's paying off. And we dropped a couple passes too, so we could have had a couple other turnovers. But more importantly, it's part of the way we play, the aggressive style that we play defense, and those guys are playing pretty well right now.
You mentioned sacks as well. Turrell Foster, who we're going to visit with here in a couple minutes, had 3 sacks on his own on Saturday. Another linebacker. It seems like every week it's a different guy from that group who's really stepping up and making a lot of really good plays.
Well, in our system, that's who's got to do it. In a 3-4 system, those guys coming off the edge like he does, it's a fast, quick linebacker against a 300-pound tackle, and if he gets the right angle and goes around the corner, it doesn't take him long to get to the quarterback once he gets there. And Morgan Weaver's the same over on the other side. So that core is pretty good, and when the defensive line does their job and gobbles up some double teams, those guys are free to play, and that's the style. When you see that happening, you know that our defense is doing what it's designed to do.
You've talked these last couple of weeks about really finishing, and one of the things I was impressed with from your defense, they got put in a couple positions where Minot was down in the red zone, would take over a drive there, and really have a good chance to score, and that defense wouldn't buckle, wouldn't let him do anything. So you have to be really proud with the way that defense played, not letting Minot capitalize on any of those situations.
Well, I think what's happening, Grant, is that defense loves to be on the field, so they don't care where it's at, and that's a hungry defense. Kids love playing with each other. I mean, they like being out on the field and being challenged, and they were many times challenged, and I had some interference calls. I mean, it was called really tight, so it's kind of all over the place. But more importantly is they love being on the field, and so they don't care if it's on the 10-yard line or their 10-yard line. If they get a chance to go out on the field and prove that they can play, that's what they want. That's what they're seeking out.
We're going to go forward now. Upper Iowa comes in on Saturday. It's the first NSIC South game of the year for both teams. What do you have to do to be effective against Upper Iowa?
Well, it goes right back to turnovers. We've got to take care of the football. Last year down there was a high-scoring game down there, and it was kind of all over the place. And we've improved defensively. They've improved on both sides of the football. And so it's really going to be, can we run the football? Can we control the tempo of the game? And can we keep their high-powered offense off the field? And at the same time, not commit turnovers. And if they do, we want to make sure that we capitalize on it. So getting in the red zone, putting some points up, having some big plays go your way is going to be critical in the game.
And it's certainly supposed to be a great day for football. Great weather. It's going to be a night game, 6 o'clock kick. So it'll be a great night to come out and watch the Warriors in action.
Well, it's awesome. Game day here is fun. Everybody, even opponents, love coming to Winona to play. They love playing down there in Maxwell Field, kind of standing, people standing on top of you the whole game, and it's a great environment. So yeah, we want everybody to come out. We're celebrating a lot of different things during the game, but most importantly, 6 o'clock kick. Go do your thing on Saturday, and then come on down and tailgate and join the Warriors.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun on Saturday again. Like Coach said, 6 o'clock here in Winona. The Warriors in Upper Iowa. It's going to be a great game, a great atmosphere, great evening, and we're really looking forward to that one on Saturday. When we come back, however, we're going to take one last look at the Minot State game. Check out all of the highlights. Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. A lot of highlights to get to from the Warriors game against Minot State, so let's take a look at those right now. We'll begin with, where else? Chichi Ojika.
Well, he just made a great cut right there to stick the ball up going north. And obviously you see his speed. He was a 200-meter champion in high school with track. But just to see him get out and use what God gave him, that great speed, is fun to watch.
And speaking of speed, quarterback Jack Nelson's going to make something out of nothing on this one.
Well, he's been fun to watch too, and scrambling around and finding a way to get in the end zone. He's got great awareness for a freshman kid, and it's fun to see him run around a little bit.
Warriors on defense, we've mentioned already, 8 forced fumbles. This play, just a nice sack by the Warrior defense. Now here we're going to get to see the first of those forced fumbles as the Warrior defense gets to the football.
Well, I think what you're seeing is a lot of different people active to the ball, stripping the ball. You see them punching the ball out there, scooping and taking off, running. Morgan Weaver, I think they're at the ball, but they're just really having some fun on the defensive side.
Play action for the Warriors finds Alan May for a touchdown.
Yeah, a kid that's been doing a great job on the punt returns as well, and as a secondary role in the receiving core, but when he gets his hands on the ball, good things are going to happen.
Warriors on defense now. Handoff, and again, Great pursuit by Larry Mbayo.
Yeah, Larry's got great speed as well, and the running back got out and got loose, and he ran him down and got the ball out. So great defensive play, great awareness.
Never giving up on anything. Again, Minot State had some chances to score and just could never get in.
Yeah, and again, it's the pressure. Another sack that you saw. We just stayed after him the entire day.
You got a sack, you got a forced fumble on this one as well.
Yeah, obviously 8 fumbles during the day and a couple, I don't know how many sacks, 8 sacks I think we had. Just great pressure against the Minot offense.
Again, Minot under center. Going to have nowhere to go. Sacked by Turrell Foster, fumble forced, Warriors recover.
Yeah, great job right there. When you see 4 or 5 guys at the end of the play standing there, it's pretty fun.
Running the football, just puts it on the turf, and that happened by Minot State several times on Saturday. Now the Warriors get the ball back. Chichi Ojika.
Again, you just see the explosiveness, the change of direction, change of speed. Thought he was going to go right through the middle of it there. Didn't quite make it, but 50-yard gain at any time is pretty fun.
And when Chichi wasn't running, well, passing the ball worked pretty well too.
Well, you saw that they double covered across the middle, and we threw the ball down to Tony Mueller. That's our baseball player's first touchdown, so he was pretty excited. I'm excited for Tony.
Warriors on defense, and no, this isn't a broken record, but this is another forced fumble.
Yeah, it's kind of nice highlights. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
And, but again, just relentless pressure. They stay after him. 2 or 3 guys to the football when it's over, and again, we get our hands on the football.
Ball on the ground a lot for Minot State on Saturday. And Colin Corcoran just rushing the passer, bringing him down.
Yeah, it's our coaches did a good job scheming that up. They didn't have anybody to block him, and he ran right to the cue.
Chichi Ojika broke off several long runs. Here's another one.
Yeah, and you see the guys downfield working too. I mean, he hits it so hard that those receivers got to know that he's on his way almost every single snap.
And this one, Chichi's going to take to the house.
This is awesome. Watch how fast he hits this right here. Up through the middle, makes a cut. Safety has no chance, and he's off to the races. And again, with that old experience now, finding a way to get in at the very end. Fun day for Chichi.
No one's going to keep him out of the end zone there, and we'll see him break off another one here.
Well, guy had a point of attack, tackle opportunity, just ran away from him, and you see the safety chased him all the way around. That's with 1 sock and 1 shoe, because he lost a shoe along the way somewhere.
Under center again, the play action that works so well. Now we got a touchdown to Josh Mikas.
Yeah, again, they've really gotten to know each other pretty well now. Jack Nelson to Josh Mikas, a pretty nice combination. Big day for both of them.
And Jordan Koss, a freshman, getting some action.
Yeah, we only had 2 running backs really playing the game, and we kind of banged up there a little bit. But Jordan Koss does a great job. He's been our short yardage guy. There's a chance for him to play in the open field, and really made a couple nice runs. And also you see him protecting there on the pass to Jensen.
Somehow didn't get into the end zone on that, but the Warriors punched it in on the next play. And here, one last time on defense for Winona State.
Well, again, just relentless pressure. If they don't throw it on time, we're going to get there. And it's something we've been buzzing the tower of the quarterback all year, and great example there.
Again, pressure, fumble, ball on the ground, Warriors flying to it.
Well, you saw how fast those 4 guys were upfield in a hurry, and the ball's out. And just a great day and a really fun trip up to Minot.
Fun game, Coach. Chichi running all over the place, defense causing havoc. A really great one on last Saturday against Minot State, a Warrior win. We will be right back talking to one of those guys from the defense. Turrell Foster joins me right after this. Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. I'm now joined by Warrior linebacker Turrell Foster. And Turrell, talk to me about this defense. It's a defense that has been playing really, really well this season through 4 games. First 2 games against Bemidji and St. Cloud held those 2 teams under 100 yards rushing, held a powerful MSU Moorhead passing attack really well below their averages 2 weeks ago, and then only allowed 14 points against Minot State. So you guys have been really, really successful so far this season. What have you guys been doing that's working so well?
I think we just go out there and I like to think we have fun. That's kind of my mindset and all the other guys. And really, it's just a resilient group. We go out there and, our coaches are so great with getting the schemes right for us and putting us in the right position.
You mentioned you feel like you're having fun out there. It certainly looks like you're having fun out there. What's it like to play in a defense where you're allowed some freedoms to really go after the quarterback and get into the backfield?
It's hard to explain, but it's a great feeling, just being around these guys, like I said, it's just such a great time. Like I said, it's hard to describe the feeling when you're out there, but it's a great feeling out there.
What's it like in that linebacker room? I mean, you got so many guys at that position who are playing extremely well. Yourself, Ryan Gertz, Colin Corcoran, Morgan Weaver on the other side. I mean, Ian Murray, the list goes on and on and on. What's it like to be in that linebacker room working with guys who are so good at what they're doing?
It's awesome. I mean, you can't get a better group of guys than we have, Every day we make each other better. I think that's the biggest thing, just getting to practice and, someone's like, we're like, hey, pick it up, so being in the room with those guys is something else. It's a great group of guys.
You've been running the 3-4 defense now. This is your 4th year. What are the advantages of running that style of defense, and what does it allow you to do particularly on defense?
I think it's great for us. I mean, with the guys that we have, like you said, our linebackers, our linebacking group, our D-line is solid. It's a great defense. When I got here, we ran a 4-3. So the transition, and I was running back all my life, so I've been through a lot of things, and but yeah, it's a great defense. I love the 3-4, and I think we play well, with that.
Getting to the football is something that you guys have excelled at this year, and especially on Saturday, forced 8 fumbles at Minot State. Is that something that you guys work on every day? Is trying to separate body from football?
Every single day of practice. We're ripping at the ball, whether it's, we're going against our goal team, we're ripping at the ball, coaches yelling at us ripping at the ball. So, I mean, every day we're preaching turnovers. So, obviously, that kind of, practice, makes perfect. So, we do it in practice. It's going to show up in games like it did in Minot, so which is awesome to see.
And we can't have a discussion about fumbles without going back to that St. Cloud State game. Late in the game, fumble, you pick it up, torrential downpour, run it in for a touchdown. What was that like to get your hands back on the football and get into the end zone?
Oh man, it was something else. It brought me back to my running days, which I no longer have. But it was something else. I tell you what, I picked up that ball. I didn't even think I was going to break a tackle. That wasn't going through my mind. So I raced down the sideline. I thought I was going to get caught. Too slow for run the ball anymore. So.
But you didn't, and you scored. That's the main thing,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, this weekend, Upper Iowa comes in, another one of those really high-powered, pass-happy offenses. What do the Warriors have to do to keep them off the board?
I think we need to keep playing like we're playing. I feel like the big one against Minot, that was great for us confidence-wise, and I think we need to keep doing what we're doing. They do some great things. They got a great quarterback, great running back. They got some players, so, they're the #1 offense in the league right now. So we got to keep doing what we're doing and slow their good guys down and, have some fun, like I said, play football.
Well, it'll be a fun one on Saturday. 6 o'clock is the kickoff here in Winona, the Warriors in Upper Iowa, the first NSIC South game of the year for both teams. So it'll be a great night on Saturday here in Winona. We will be right back. Quarterbacks coach Cam Keller is going to sit down and talk to us a little bit more about the Warrior offense. Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show, joined now by Minot State co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Cam Keller. And Coach, it's a Warrior offense that has really taken off the last couple weeks, and a lot of that has to be attributed to what's going on in the run game. Chichi Ojika goes for 242 yards on Saturday against Minot State. That's the 3rd most by anybody in school history. When that aspect of your game is really rolling, what does that bring to the table?
Well, it definitely changes everything that we're able to do if we're able to run the football, because now you bring in a whole different dynamic with our play action pass. And if we're not able to run the football, you're not going to get teams to bring an extra safety down and create advantages in the pass game that we really like to do. And the first couple of weeks we really struggled with some things scheme-wise with some teams that moved a lot with their D-line, and we've worked a lot on that over the last couple of weeks. And I think what you saw at Minot was a team that was doing a lot of the same things that we'd seen. We've been able to fix some of those problems that we had. Made those corrections, and Chichi ran hard. And, I think to his credit, he's a kid that for the last few years he's been a role player. And, he's not that big thumper that everybody thinks of when, you look at Rayon or Theo. And even coming into this year, I think Chichi had the mindset that he was going to be that guy that played that role and run outside the tackles and do those things. And when Theo went down, it really changed Chichi's role. And especially this last week where we were a little bit banged up going into that game, he knew he was going to have to carry the bulk of the load. And he stepped in and was able to run between the tackles as well as I've seen him do it in his career. And I think what you saw was a product on the field that makes us pretty scary when he's able to do that.
You mentioned thumpers like Ray, guys who really get the bulk of their stuff in between the tackles, and then a guy like Chichi who works on the edges, getting outside and beating people with their speed. How does your job as a play caller change when you have a guy like Chichi in the backfield as opposed to a guy like Ray?
Well, the thing with Ray that we were lucky to have was we were able to run the ball downhill on, short yardage situations that you knew he was going to be able to run through people. Chichi doesn't have that ability, and Chichi will tell you that, and he doesn't want to run through people. And that's not a bad thing. That's not what he's out there to do. We're going to put him in situations where he's going to be successful, knowing what his strengths are. And, for us, it does change a little bit what we do in the way that we approach attacking the line of scrimmage and where exactly we're going to try to run the football. But, you get to a point where you just hope that whoever's back there is able to do whatever we can do up front, and they fit in nicely. And I think they've all accepted their role. Things have changed over the last month, obviously, with injuries and the way that we've had to handle some different defensive looks. They've had to change what they do, and I think Chi-Chi's adjusted as well as anybody.
You mentioned injuries, and the big one is at quarterback. John Tegland goes down in the first game of the year, and now you're playing a true freshman guy, Jack Nelson, who's come in and really, really played well. What's it been like trying to get a true freshman kid who's been on campus for all of 2 months ready to go in an NSIC game?
Well, I think the good thing for us is that we knew really after about the 4th or 5th day of practice that he was the guy that was going to be our backup. Obviously hindsight's 2020. If we'd have known John was going to be out this long, we'd have played Jack against Bemidji. But you want to make sure that when that decision is made that your kid isn't going to waste a year for 10 snaps. And you want to make sure that the quality snaps that he's getting through the year is worth burning that red shirt. And we had even hoped that it wasn't just going to be for one start at St. Cloud. You don't want to waste a kid's year for one game. But obviously we're still concerned about John and hoping that we can get him back and healthy for the bulk of our schedule, and especially now as we head into the South Division play. Because John brings some things to the table that, as Jack continues to get better every week, John has been there for 5 years, and he's seen all that, and he's able to do some things that Jack is still learning. But from where Jack's at right now, I really haven't had to change anything as far as play calling. We've approached everything the same with Jack. We haven't watered it down. In fact, there's been some things that he's been able to do that I've never had a true freshman be able to do that at quarterback. And Coach Sawyer and I've been talking about, it just is so rare these days to play a true freshman at quarterback. You don't really have anything to relate it to or compare it to, but we really haven't changed anything with him. And the way that he's becoming more comfortable every day in our system has been fun to watch, and to watch the players grow around him. Losing your starting quarterback, who is a team captain, is a huge blow. And our offense could have went one of two ways. And to see those guys really take it as a wake-up call that we need to play better at every position, and we need to show up to work every day and get the things done that we need to get done has been fun to watch, and they've really taken to Jack well.
One of the things that obviously helps out Jack or whoever's playing quarterback here are the receivers that you have between Josh Mikas, Cameron Johnson, Tony Mueller, Alan May. The list goes on and on. That's a pretty special group of players as well who are on the receiving end of those passes.
I think they've done a nice job, and they've had to understand that when you have a true freshman at quarterback, you can't just go run to an area because that's kind of where you're at. You have to become a little more precise in the route running. You have to make sure that everything you're seeing from a defensive secondary and your reads of the coverage are going to be the same as what that quarterback's seeing. Where John was good enough that the game was so slow to him that he was able to adapt. If a wideout made a wrong read, he just wouldn't throw him the football. Sometimes with Jack, things are still happening a little fast, and we have to make sure that those wideouts do everything that they're supposed to do to be where he thinks they're going to be. And I think those guys have really done a nice job over the last couple of weeks of understanding that and not trying to freelance, doing the things that they need to do to get open, and then when the ball's in the air, they've done a much better job over the last couple of weeks of simply going up and getting it. And that's been a big point of emphasis for us, is winning those jump balls. And if we continue to harp on that, continue to get better, I think that group has a chance to be a very, very special group.
One of the things we've done the last couple of weeks, as we've had defensive players in here, is ask them what they see from your offense in practice every day. So this is a chance to turn the tables on that. you have to go up against a Warrior defense that is incredibly active and gets the football very quickly. What's it like for you to go up against that unit? What do you see from them each day in practice?
Well, I think the first thing we see is something that statistically jumps out at everybody, and that's the fact that they're leading the league in sacks. And what they do to us in practice is no different than what they do to other teams in the conference, and that's 20 sacks in 4 games. They create some mismatch issues that we simply can't block. And they do some nice things in putting running backs in bad situations, pass protection-wise. And they also understand when they're able to bring guys from different sides, they're able to cover up hot routes. And so if you can't protect it, you can't throw hot. And that's something that they do really well, is they make sure that their pressures are sound. I think you do see some teams out there that they want to bring 6 or 7 just to bring 6 or 7, and they're not able to cover behind it. And I think one of the things that they've done a really nice job of is adapting in the secondary to be able to cover everything. And being able to play man coverage behind it is tough. And so it creates us a lot of problems. And I know that it's good for us because I honestly believe they're the best defense in the conference. And to see them every day makes us better. It makes us better as coaches because we have to figure out how to be able to attack them, not just pick up what they're bringing. We have to be able to attack them. And so I think that it makes all of us better when we're able to be put in those types of situations.
Well, we'll see both sides of the football on Saturday as the Warriors take on Uprio. It's the first NSIC South game of the season for both teams, so a great night here in Winona. It's a 6 o'clock kick on Saturday. We hope to see everyone out at Verizon Wireless Stadium for this one. For everybody here at the Tom Sawyer Show, Coach Corey Purdell behind the cameras, we appreciate you watching. We'll see you next week.